Next thing we need to do is make an OpenAI account so we can get API access. You will need a credit card for that. Don't worry, the credit card is just there to enable the API because they charge you as you go. It's charging on demand, like you're not paying for something up front. In this course, if you just wrote a while loop and left it and walked away, you might pay $1. Like, it's not going to be expensive. So, I mean, you'll get rate limited before you even hit that limit. But anyway, make sure you sign up, have an account. I already have one, so I'm just going to log in. And if you see this screen where it says, oh, ChatGPT or DALL-E or API, click API. That's the one that we want. ChatGPT is its own app. It has its own subscription. It's not the same as adding, you actually have to pay for this, like $20 a month or something like that if you want the plus version. And then we just want the API.
Max Vertman has a little first look at using the ChatGPT API.
Nice. So now I'm in here. What I can do is I can just click personal right here, and I can click manage account. And then you can just click on billing. And basically you just need to add a payment method. So, I have my payment method here. You just need to make sure you have a payment method on file. $5 will like take you through the whole month. Like, I mean, I can show you my usage right here. Where's my usage? So like, so far I spent 52 cents this month in June. And I'm telling you, I've been going pretty nuts on AI stuff. So like, you won't have a problem when it comes to cost. That $5 should be more than enough. So yeah, add your card there. And then the last thing you want to do is just click on view API keys and then just make a key. Just make an API key, copy it. You can make as many as you want, but just have an API key ready and we'll be using that. First thing we want to do is, if you haven't, make that API key, copy it, and we need to add it to our environment variable file. So we could just drop it in the env local. If you do drop it in a .env file instead, just make sure that is in your git ignore, because by default it's not. I had to add it. And then even after you add it in your git ignore, it might not be ignored. You might have to delete it, make a commit, add it back, and then it'll be ignored because it's already been checked in if you've committed with it not being in a git ignore. Git stuff. So I'm just going to add it in my env local, and you have to give it this name: OpenAI underscore API underscore key equals, and then the actual key. So once you have that, just OpenAI underscore API underscore key, add your key. Once you have that, you can go into the AITS, and let's just create an example. Let's just get started with this. So the first thing we're going to do is let's make a function called analyze. Analyze. How do you spell analyze? Yeah, okay. I'm like, there we go. So we'll make a function called analyze. We'll export that since we're going to use it. And to get started, what we want to do, like we don't need LangChain to interact with OpenAI. OpenAI has their own SDK. I mean, you can even make a fetch call if you want. It's just an API. But LangChain makes it easier for us to do things. In some cases, it makes it harder. But you'll see once we start building more sophisticated cases, like trying to do QA and things like that. So the first thing we want to do is we want to import from LangChain /LLMs/ OpenAI, and we want to import OpenAI. It's a named import. LangChain works in Node. It works in the browser. It works on the edge. It works in any JavaScript environment. We're going to be using it in Node. We won't be using this in the browser. So everything we do in AI will be server-side, whether that's like happening in a server-side data call on a server component or an API call on one of our route handlers. Okay, cool. So analyze, basically, let's just have this take in like some prompts or something like that for now. And what we can do, we'll make this async. And let's just see if we can run an inference. Or I think in OpenAI's terms, they call it a completion. So a completion is like, give it a prompt, get back an answer. That's a completion. So first thing to do is need to make a model instance. So we can say model, and that's just going to be a new OpenAI. Takes a config option. You don't have to put anything here, but I'm going to put something here. I'm going to put temperature of 0. I'll talk about that in a minute. And I forgot what the default model. So OpenAI has many models. It has like GPT-3, GPT 3.5 Turbo, which is what is in ChatGPT. If you have access, you have GPT-4 as well. I have access to GPT-4. We will not be using that. That will cost you a lot of money. And it's really slow. So we're not going to do that. But it's so much better. It is like if we had GPT on this app, you thought the responses we got were cool. GPT-4 is even crazier. So we're going to say model name, and we're just going to say GPT 3.5 turbo, which is probably the default. I just don't remember. LangChain is a very, very, very active project. They make changes multiple times a day. So it's quite honestly hard to keep up with all the little things that they change. So I just don't use any of the defaults and just be explicit about everything that I'm doing. Okay, so we have our model. And then to make a completion, all we have to do is just say, so I'll just say result equals await model dot call. And I can just pass in a prompt like this. And then I'm just going to log the result so we can see it. All right, so we have that. Let's try to get this to run. I say the quickest way to get this to run right now would probably just add this in like a server-side server component data call somewhere. We're definitely going to do it in the API handler when we build it out fully, but just to test this out, it's quicker just to add it to like probably like this journal page right here that's doing some server-side logic here. We just add it here. This is happening on the server whenever you refresh the page, so we can just do it here and see the result of it. So let's do that. I'll bring that in, analyze, and then you can type in whatever prompt you want. I'll even await it. So it's going to take a little longer to load the page, obviously, now that I'm awaiting this, but it's all good. And if you haven't used GPT or ChatGPT, you might be asking, like, what do I put here? What do I say? You can say anything. You know, it really doesn't matter what you put. I can say, create me a view component that renders a counting number. Like it doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want here. You can ask it to give you a nutrition plan if you want. It doesn't matter. So we'll do that. Go back to the journal page. As you can see, it's taking a little longer, just like I told you it was going to take, because it's trying to make that call to OpenAI, which is not going to be as quick as hitting like our database. And then if you just go look at the output of that, you can see for me, it did. It was like, cool. Here's an example of a view component that renders a counting number, and then it just wrote the code for me. So it's working, and we got this output back. So I don't know what you put in, but clearly you might see something different than what I see.